Well folks, forgive me if this all ends up sounding crazy. I'm still a bit rattled from last night. I wanted to post this update then, but I wasn't allowed to post immediately upon getting back to my apartment because of a rule about 24 hours between posts. It's probably good anyway, I can think more clearly now. But before I get into that, first of all, I want to thank you for all your suggestions. Truthfully, when I woke up yesterday morning, I wasn't too worried about the situation. I think I managed to rationalise it in my mind before going to bed, and then when I woke up with a slight hangover, it all seemed silly. However, upon reading some comments and then rereading what I wrote, I got pretty creeped out again. It almost felt like I was standing in the elevator, watching her shuffle over towards me again. Help me help you. What could that mean? Does she know something about me that I don't? Do I need to do something in order for her to be able to help me out in the future? I suppose that's the most literal interpretation. Regardless, I was at least able to sort of shake myself out of the stupor by mid-morning. I had the day off yesterday, and so I was in and out of my apartment running errands and doing laundry. In total, I probably took the elevator up or down at least 8 times, and there was never a sign of the woman. And in case you were about to ask, yes, there were times that I was alone in the elevator, and she still did not make an appearance. I did ask my girlfriend if she had ever noticed a woman who seemed to have mental issues or was acting very strangely in the elevator, but nothing came to mind for her. She also hadn't seen her the night before, despite having gone down from the rooftop just minutes before me. It seemed like most of the comments were pretty evenly split between the woman being supernatural or just a strange, real person. After last night's events, I'm leaning towards the former. I think it's almost definite, but I'm no expert. As someone pointed out, my assumption about the different clothes already has shown my general ignorance on this subject. Anyway, I'd made up my mind after dinner yesterday that I was not going to leave my apartment after 10 PM. But then my girlfriend went to bed, I got bored, and I decided I wanted to go take over a gym near my apartment in Pokemon Go. Yes, people still play that. I took the stairs down to the lobby, and the crisp night air felt good. I decided, since it was only 11, that I would go grab a drink at my favourite neighbourhood bar before heading home. At around 11:30, I took the short walk home. As I saw my apartment building looming from a block away, it all suddenly hit me again. The head tilt, the strange voice, the heavy breathing. I almost wanted to stop walking. As I finally arrived home, seemingly as slow as possible, I got into the lobby and resolved to sit down until someone else came in, so that I would not have to take the elevator alone. It only took a moment until a man and a woman came in. I managed to avoid seeming strange as I got up casually after they walked in and wandered up to the elevators with them while staring at my phone. As the doors opened, I looked up and held my breath. But it was empty. We stepped in and I pushed 4. A moment later, the man reached over and pushed 2. I couldn't believe it. 24 floors in this building, 23 of which had residents. So what are the chances that these 2 people would be going to one of the 2 possible floors which would cause them to get off the elevator before me? As they got off, I tried to smile normally at them, and then closed my eyes as the doors reclosed, and the elevator began to move again. I couldn't tell if I had imagined it since my eyes were closed, but I could have sworn that the lights flickered. "Are you all right?" I scrunched my eyes together even though they were already shut. I almost felt like pinching myself. Instead, after a moment of desperately squeezing them together to the point that I almost squeezed out tears that hadn't even been there before, I opened my eyes. The bright lights of the elevator were fully on and came into focus. And there she was. This time, she was wearing short shorts, a V-cut t-shirt, and glasses. It was an extremely different look, but I recognized her instantly. She still had the exact same smile on her face as the night before. Literally, down to the slight tilt of her head. She had the exact same expression on her face. She was standing very close to me. If you can picture your average elevator, I was up against the wall on the side where the panel of buttons was, and she was standing about level with where the panel meets the door. "Good night. All right?" She was still smiling. Hello. Hello. Yes, I'm all right," I said, my voice cracking slightly. The elevator reached the 4th floor and the doors slid open. I looked at the doors and then back to the woman. I didn't have a clear, comfortable path by her to reach the door. I stood helplessly, cowardly, hoping that she might stand aside. She didn't. As the doors closed, she leaned sideways without breaking eye contact with me, and hit 13. I stared at her, she stared back, and my brain began to race. Something inside me started to panic. My eyes raced from the button she had pushed to her staring eyes, to the doors of the elevator. We were moving up now. 5th floor. I couldn't be in here with her anymore. I still wasn't certain that she intended me any harm. Surely by now she could have tried to hurt me if she wanted to. But of all the numbers, the fact that she chose that one was causing me to panic in a way I'm not proud of. 6th. I had to try something. So do you live on 13? I'm on 4, but it's okay, I can just take it back down, I said, trying to smile. 7. She took a step towards me. There was only inches between her forehead and my nose. I could smell her hair, I'm sure of it. "I live on 13. You can take it." 8. I made a movement that I tried to make as unaggressive and natural as possible. I reached for the panel and hit 10. "I actually feel like taking the stairs," I said, entirely too loudly to maintain any illusion of calm. I moved as if to go around her. 9. She blocked me immediately. I don't know if she actually moved her feet. Maybe she just did that weird shuffling thing that I saw her do yesterday. In any case, she was blocking my path. And that smile was gone. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to inconvenience you," I stammered. 10. The doors opened. I had 2 choices. I still felt that I could overpower this woman physically if I needed to. But I didn't want to. I just wanted to be away from her and then never take the elevator again. If I had to call my girlfriend every single time I got home and find an excuse to have her come down to the lobby so she could ride the elevator back up with me again, I would be fine with that. I would figure it out later. I just needed to be out of the elevator. And so I pushed past her, doing a sort of swim move and bringing my arm up over her so that I could slide past her sideways more easily. I was about halfway out the door when she grabbed me. It was the first time that she had physically touched me, and I actually screamed. "I'm sorry. You can take it. Actually feel it. I'm on 13. Take it," she said loudly. Her voice had become extremely different than before. It was no longer a whisper or monotonous. It was loud and seemed even desperate. Instinctively, I pulled myself from her grasp and out the doors. They closed, and she leaned with the door as it closed, maintaining eye contact with me. She was crying. Not audibly, but the kind where a couple of tears just pool in your eyes, and then one eventually drips down your cheek. "You live on 4. I can take it back down," she said. "Help me help you." I got to the staircase as quickly as my addled mind would allow, and I took the stairs down 3 at a time. I wanted to make sure that I reached the 4th floor before the elevator could possibly continue up to 13, and then be reversed back to 4. There is so much going through my mind now. As I said earlier, I'm starting to become convinced that this woman is indeed a spirit. How in the hell else could she have been on the elevator with me suddenly, only after the other two people had gotten off? In all honesty, I actually feel guilty for being so scared of her. I don't think I described it properly, but the tears and expression on her face after I got off on the 10th floor and pulled out of her grasp seemed genuinely sad. I also can't help but feel like no matter what I do, eventually this woman is going to get me alone in the elevator again. Her last words to me tonight seemed to articulate that intention pretty clearly. I've resolved to tell my girlfriend, and if I end up in an elevator alone with her again, to try and take a picture of her on my cell phone before the seemingly inevitable verbal interactions begin. At that point, who knows? She seems to be becoming more aggressive each time I see her. What does this woman want from me? And what is on the 13th floor?